this is an organization that's definitely close to my heart. My wife got involved about a dozen years ago in fundraising, and the more we learned, the more we wanted to get involved. And it turns out there's actually a lot of people in the industry that are also associated with this. Jay Sears is somebody that also is involved. And what we want to do is I want to talk about what my experience has been, and then Jay has something really cool coming up that he's going to talk about. So first I want to just give you a feel for it. There's a short video that will give you a feel for the organization.
I'm breaking the cycle by being part of a movement, the BuildOn movement. We're building schools, and so when we build in a school, we're not only just building a school, we're building a life, we're building a community, we're building a world. We're building an entirely new world. When I go and do service or anything, I see myself improving the world. Just one heart at a time.
It's an amazing feeling when somebody tells you that you're their hero and that we had accomplished a change.
I had problems at home, and it's like I would use BuildOn to get out of it. And then it's like when I would go to BuildOn, it was just like, this is my family.
When the person we help smile, it just motivates me to keep on helping.
They have so much love in their heart for us when we come out to do service. They have so much love, and they appreciate everything we do. And from that, I learned to appreciate more of myself and appreciate what the world can do and what people can do, what humans can do to help another human.
The little kids here is so happy and joyful that we're here doing this.
When I went to see the school with the little children and all the rain falling on them, I was like, they need this school. They need to have a perfect roof. They need to have the walls and the foundation ready for them.
This right here, education is the most important thing. Education holds the key to success. Education guides one to the door of knowledge, and education is the foundation of all things.
I'm looking at them and they're like 14, 15 years old. Literally, they're in the middle of their childhood and they're thinking about what their moms are going through, the violence that they got to deal with on a regular basis, and yet they choose to come to a BuildOn service project. They choose to give back to their community. So in my eyes, that's definitely a hero.
What BuildOn's about, BuildOn breaks the cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations through service and education. So they have two elements to their program, and you saw some of this, or both of these in that video, where the problem they're trying to solve is in the US, almost 900,000 high schoolers drop out every year, staggering number. And 750 million people worldwide are illiterate. So they address both sides of these. In the US, what they do is they target inner city high schools that typically have a less than 50% graduation rate. They focus on service, so they leverage other charities such as Habitat for Humanity, soup kitchens, tutoring, elder care, et cetera. And the BuildOn students serve people in those through those other organizations. And it turns out, and studies have shown that service, helping other people, actually is the number one activity a person can do to increase their feeling of self-worth. And the results are amazing. So BuildOn students have volunteered over 2 million hours. And in these schools that have a less than 50% graduation rate, BuildOn students have a 97% graduation rate and go on to a 4-year university. And then worldwide, they build schools in 7 of the poorest countries in the world. And they've built over 1,500 schools to date. They're on target to do 200 more this year, and there's now 200,000 people that are being educated in these schools. And the way they tie these programs together is the kids in the US that volunteer in their service projects can earn a trip to go build a school. So they do these student treks where they live in the community for 2 weeks and they help build a school. So it's something that's incredibly impactful for them as a person, obviously, as well as the community they're building the school for. And BuildOn also enables what they call donor treks, and that's what my wife and I have sponsored 2 schools and built 2 schools with our kids. And I wanted to give you a feel for for our experience there. So this right here was the school in the first village. They had desks that they would just put underneath trees. If it rained, no school. And the result is this. So it's not a fancy building, but is a very, very functional building that's usually the nicest building in their village. And then now also they have a partnership with Solar City, so they have solar electricity that, with batteries as well, so they can do night school as well for all the adults. So to give you a feel for the actual trek, it's an amazing experience. So you arrive and you first do this, they call this signing of the covenant. So there's a three-way agreement between BuildOn that provides the foreman, supplies, and the know-how how to build the school, the government that agrees to fund the schools going forward with teachers and supplies, and the community where every adult has to sign it, where they agree to provide the hours to build the school, and that they will send all their children, boys and girls, and that's particularly important in Africa as far as making sure all the girls are educated, to the school. And so, since you spend 4 to 5 days living with a host family, and it's the front end of the project, so you do a lot of digging and mixing concrete and tying rebar and all that kind of work, but you're also interacting with them a lot. On the job site, you're playing Jenga and Uno and stuff, with the families at night. Playing, kickball, soccer, whatever the kids want to play in the afternoon. So you're really getting a feel for how they live. And when you're there, you realize, what a huge event it is for the village. I mean, this is a celebration that they did as we were leaving. So they did one on the front end, one on the back end. And, you become, you'll see like our kids became little mini celebrities. The villagers just surrounded them, always wanted to do pictures of them. And that gentleman right there, I spent many hours digging holes with him, and he was a very stoic guy. He didn't say a word the entire time. But when I left, he came up and gave me a hug, and he was crying. And so through a translator, he told me that I don't have kids, but this is something that's going to lift up the whole village, and I absolutely want to be part of it. So BuildOn, they build in 7 countries around the world. You heard about my experience, our experience in Nicaragua, and now I want to hand it over to Jay. So Jay has formed a team that he calls Team Daya, and it's an industry effort of advertising and technology folks to fund and build schools, and they're doing it through BuildOn. So he envisions this not as a one-time event, but something that can be an ongoing effort that's supported by the industry. So it's a great idea. I want to hand over to Jay to take from here.
Thank you, Brian. I'm Jay Sears. I think I know most of the folks in the room, and those of you that I don't know, I come from the industry with tenures from MasterCard, Rubicon, ContextWeb, and others, but I'm talking about giving back today. And it's not lost on me that we started this morning with Rashad and Rob talking about purpose and kind of bigger, wider meaning, not just to do good, but as a core part of business success. So it seems very apropos that we're talking about doing good now. And so Team Daya, it's a bunch of your friends from the advertising and technology business that are building change by building schools in the third world. And our first school building project is going to be in Nepal, in far western Nepal, this October. And we kicked off this project last November. But the story starts long ago. So this is me with a lot of hair and just about the cutest kid I could find in Nepal in 1988. I went there my junior year, and the quick story I want to tell you is when I was in a remote village in the Annapurna Mountains that actually had a school, I was there for a number of weeks, and the principal of the school called me down because he heard there was an American in the village. And I sat across from his desk, and he said, you're from the US. He said, we need your help. So here it was, this principal speaking to a 21-year-old, like I was some ambassador, some representative of all the success we have in this country. And being a 21-year-old, didn't quite know what to do with that, but never forgot about it and said, one day, we're going to turn this into a project and give something back to a place that gave me a lot. So that's the origin of Team Daya and how it came together. Now, Brian talked to you about this, but in districts where this work is being done, you find illiteracy rates over 50%. And in the specific communities or the actual towns where these schools are built, you have adult illiteracy rates close to 100%. Okay? So you can start to understand how this is a very systematic, generational challenge, that the children either have no access to education at all, or they walk hours to school, or like Brian was showing, it's under a tree and it's raining, or this is a better situation under a tin roof. Okay? And for girls, it's worse, the access. Okay? So what is Team Daya? How's this all working? And kind of where are we? So there's a core team from industry, and one of the other team members, Jared Knudsen, can you raise your hand? Yeah? So Jared and I work together at Context Web. I affectionately call him Jared One Call Close Knudsen, okay, right here. And so these are the folks that have come together to do the fundraising, to do the planning, and actually travel in country in October to go into the village and help build the school. Okay, I told you we launched in November, so these are just a representative list of some of our angel investors. And we're here to see what other angels there are in the room and to ask you to help us get the word out. And when we thought about this, we really only thought about kind of calling friends that we all kind of grew up with in the industry and asking them for a $500 or $1,000 donation. And it didn't even occur to us until one day we got a call from Jeff Green in the trade desk, and they've become our first corporate underwriter too. So we're also now kind of speaking to people about kind of corporate support as well. So we talked a little bit about this already, but working with BuildOn, they ID the sites. They get the commitments from the community, from government. There's a big focus on gender equality and social inclusion in this discussion with government and community. There's a local board that governs this. It's men and women. There's staffing commitments. There's a promise of equal access to the school for boys and girls. And all the manual labor comes from the community. And this is what you get. A typical school that's built serves about 150 children. There are adult literacy programs that happen in the evening. And to give you an idea on how far an investment goes in a place like Nepal is $1,000 paints an entire school. $500 pays for a mason to oversee the entire build of a building like that. So I'm not going to close without making an ask, and there are a lot of ways that you all can get involved. So you can help us fundraise, individual or corporate. You can come on a build with us. So I told you we're going to Nepal in October, and we're thinking about where we go in 2020 to make this into a thing that we repeat. And then you can help us storytell, like Brian and Terry have done today, giving us this stage. Or come with us, build a school, and come back and be a storyteller yourself. So think about your own reasons why you might want to be involved, and speak with me or Jared today, and go to our website, find out how you can support us. And anyone knows where I've worked the last couple years, I want to assure you that we accept MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. So from everybody at Team Daya, thank you very much.